most part, is driving the same vehicle. So they do have the capability to keep up with this vehicle at these speeds. But in situations like this, what do you do to stop a pursuit at these high rates of speeds? Well, one, you can't do much. You can't. It can be difficult to get a spike strip ahead of it just due to the speeds and having to plan ahead for that. Pit maneuvers are really tough at those high rates of speed, as it can cause a lot of damage and actually cause injury to individuals involved in the pursuit at the high rates of speed. But we just saw something just there as we're going under this overpass. We saw
The
a
Nightcrawler is
trade-off of the
back.
California Highway Patrol between agencies,
We got a
and that's something the
high-speed
California Highway
chase.
Patrol has over this suspect. The suspect is only one car with
Yes,
one
again.
tank of gas, but the Highway Patrol has officers
This
all
time it's a
over
Dodge
the
with
state
a fucked
here
up front
that
end.
can jump into this pursuit at any moment and take over for other officers. Say their vehicles are having issues, they need a fresh set of eyes, or just another tank of gas. So California Highway Patrol is not going to give up on this. They didn't give up on it when it was on those side streets. And they are continuing now, and it looks like we're coming up on
this
the
could be a
57
long one.
interchange from the 60. We'll have to see which way the suspect goes
Get your
here
weed ready.
as we go
Get
through
your
this
snacks.
pass here in the Diamond Bar area. Again, wanted for...
I'm gonna go look for better streams. Oh, CBS got it.
This is a Dodge Challenger, and if it's a street racer, then it's probably a high-performance vehicle on top of the capabilities that it already has. So it's got to be pretty evenly matched with the CHP vehicles, because that's what they tend to drive as well.
It's all good. Get the money.
Yeah, you're absolutely right.
It's a
that may
high-speed
be a
chase
Challenger, I
with
believe
a
it is, that is
it's
currently
like
in
a,
pursuit of
what
the
is it?
Challenger in the front right now.
Street
So
racing car.
yeah, they are probably pretty evenly matched. Not sure if this is one of the performance versions or not, but we know that CHP vehicles, law enforcement vehicles, they get special modifications a lot of the time that they give them higher horsepower. This is a vehicle that's very capable of making straight line acceleration, but not so much in the turning and maneuverability category. And I still can't quite tell after that crash if he was just spinning the back wheels so hard that he started kind of fishtailing all over the place, or if that vehicle really is damaged. He definitely, it was a fairly significant collision that he had with those innocent people there back in the city of Industry. Now I'm listening to the units saying that they might have some of the other units back off and just keep this unit as the primary in pursuit right now. But this is one of those ones that we certainly hope doesn't end in a crash. May have to end with him running out of gas or going into a wrong way down a street into a cul-de-sac or something where he gets cornered at this rate.
We'll
Dodge
see.
Challenger, I'm just looking up the mileage for a Dodge Challenger, and for 2019 model we're talking 352 miles for a tank.
Baby,
so
we got
who knows
352
where
miles.
he started on that gas tank, but
Hell yeah, always
as
in Cali.
Desmond was just talking about, we're hoping that he runs out of gas and really fast, because the CHP officers, they really don't have many options at this point. As Desmond was talking about, they might be actually backing off ground units, because it can get so dangerous when they put the pressure on the driver. They know they're being chased, and if it's a street racing situation, they know they already know that they're going to be speeding and going fast. And in a situation like this, they don't want to put the public's, they don't want to put the public at risk.
So
Yeah,
they
you would
already
also assume that
crashed.
they probably have the license plate number from this vehicle, may already know who the driver is. But Susie, you're mentioning the range of this vehicle here. I think that's got to go down quite a bit when you're going 138 miles an hour. I mean, at one point in time on the 60 eastbound, we saw them going over 120, and then I looked up and saw
there's the crash.
138 at one point in time. This is a Dodge Challenger. We understand this is somebody wanted for street racing. And I'd mentioned, Susie, how this is pretty closely matched with the cruisers of CHP, but the driver of this vehicle is really no match with CHP. They have the training, of course, they have the driving skills. They know a much better way to keep their vehicle in check than this driver, as you see on the right-hand part of the
He
screen.
said not again. I was
Exhibiting some very
waiting for a
aggressive
chase,
and,
man.
crazy maneuvers, and not only just driving at night, but without lights and whatnot. So very dangerous situation, Susie. This person going above the speed limit by,
All the
in
recent
some
chases
cases,
been ending hella
almost,
fast.
well, more than
So
double.
I'm kind of
You know,
surprised that this
it's
is
hard to
ending
tell
fast.
exactly what kind of car it is. You can
I'm
see the
happy,
back lights,
but
the tail lights, but
surprised
a car expert
nonetheless.
here at our station is talking about how he believes that this might be a Charger, a Dodge Charger, not a
Yes.
Challenger, and we believe the CHP is also driving a Charger as well.
Well, Desmond Shaw is upstairs in Sky 9 with the call, and Desmond, this started not too long ago in Hacienda Heights. Did it start with CHP actually seeing the suspect here in a street racing situation? Is that how they got the call for this?
It's
It sounds like that's indeed what it was here, Jeff. Now we're getting off of the freeway. Looks like he's exiting at White Avenue, so we're in Pomona. But yeah, this was on surface streets pretty much the entire time, that's why it was kind of interesting that it was a CHP that picked this one up, and they have been content to be the ones to be the primary agency, the only agency on this one. You see this vehicle, we'll see here, might be giving up. We'll see if we can get around this tree. I think he may have had enough at this point. Of course, a really inopportune time for a tree to get there seems to happen quite often. But now as we get off the freeway, here we are with CHP with weapons drawn. It may have just been too much for this car or too much for this driver for as fast as he was going after already getting into one collision. Let's hope that he has decided that he's had enough. It was just getting way, way too dangerous out there. So we are off the freeway at a stop, weapons drawn. Let's see if the driver complies, and let's see if there's anybody else in the vehicle.
Yeah, so they're going to be hollering those commands to the driver, and as you mentioned, Desmond, Susan, we know what happens here. The protocol is
this
basically
looks like a
put your
fast
hands out, throw the keys out, and then get out and kiss the ground.
Get out and walk backwards for a few steps and then kiss the ground. It looks like they are training their guns on this
It looks like it.
driver right now, this car, but he doesn't seem to be putting his hands out just yet. But certainly glad to see this come to an end. I mean, it was so scary just to see him going that fast on surface streets. I mean, we're talking, so far, we're talking about so fast on residential streets where people could be out and about, who knows, walking their dog at this hour. He actually hit a car on Azusa near the 60
All the
freeway.
chase has been
And that
super
certainly,
fast.
ups the charges here. So officers again stopping this vehicle and finally coming to a stop. Where are we right now, Desmond?
We're just off of the eastbound 10 freeway in Pomona off of White Avenue. And Susie, we just got some more information on the question you asked me earlier. CHP was responding to between 60 and 100 cars that had gathered for some street racing. And so when they responded, obviously they nearly all scattered, and this was one of the drivers that they pursued in that incident. Unclear if they went after anybody else, if they detained anybody else in that whole thing, but this is the guy that has definitely drawn the most attention, and was certainly driving like a Fast and the Furious movie. Eastbound on the 10, we're off the freeway at White Avenue, just waiting for this guy to officially give it up.
As we get a better look at these vehicles here, it appears to be a Dodge Charger, as you mentioned, Susie, not a Challenger, but a Dodge Charger, which is the four-door sedan, high-performance vehicle. Once again, 60 to 100 cars, part of the street racing exhibition. And Susie, when you get that many drivers together, that's got to be organized. They do that very often through social media, other outlets as well, to get together and to show off their cars and do stunts and whatnot. We've seen that a number of locations throughout LA. Of course, it's been a nuisance for a long time. People hear about that, but they do keep watch on police, and seems that CHP broke it up, and this is one vehicle that was able to not escape from that. 60 to 100 cars we're talking about. That's a lot of people, but they were able to at least follow this one driver. And I'll bet you once they get this person in custody, they might have a lot of questions related to who else was at that event.
Yeah, as you mentioned, Jeff, they have him now, but as Desmond was talking about, they almost lost this driver at one point during this pursuit. He actually turned his lights off, as we saw, for the majority of the pursuit in a residential area, but the chopper overhead actually kept tabs on him. They were able to catch up with the ground units later on. But as you can see here, looks like 4 CHP vehicles so far behind this car, and the driver is still not out of the vehicle.
Maybe that's the reason why the drivers gave up, Susie. You see the steam and the smoke coming out from underneath the hood of that car, and maybe he just blew the engine. 140 miles an hour.
Who knows, but as we're talking about CHP, in situations like this, when they're driving so fast, a street racing suspect, they don't have many options. It's difficult to do a pit, as you can imagine. Certainly dangerous for the officers to do that, as well as for the suspect, and also putting out spike strips. I mean, it's nearly impossible at speeds like that.
It appears that the windows are tinted and you can't see inside, which is obviously very dangerous for officers. They will not approach that vehicle.
Looks like he just rolled down the window.
Looks like the window's coming down. Let's go back up to Desmond Shaw and Sky Knight. It appears that we see some movement, Des.
Yeah, it looks like he did just roll the window down, so hopefully we're going to see the hands come up. But you can see how busted up the front end is now as we got to the other side of the vehicle. It looks like it might have blown the headlights out. You see the smoke there. He might have blown the radiator out, and perhaps the most likely the car just overheated, especially with a busted radiator and then at the speeds that he was traveling. Worth noting, I'm wondering if this guy is just kind of enjoying the last few moments with his vehicle, because in LA County, when it comes to street racing, if they're able to prove that, you lose your car and you don't get it back. It's essentially permanently impounded. So that's, LA County has tried to get so strict with trying to crack down on street racing, and that's the biggest penalty that they have right now to try to stop people from gathering, because we have seen it end so badly so many times. Amazingly that it didn't end badly this time. It looks like this may actually be a female getting out of the vehicle. I know we were saying guy earlier, but it looks like it may be a female, and she is beginning to comply after, again, maybe just enjoying the last few moments with this Dodge Charger. Now getting out in the middle of the street, and finally it looks like we will be approaching a all-clear situation shortly.
Desmond, did it appear anyone else was inside the car?
It does not appear so. They're going to come in and clear the vehicles shortly. I don't see any other movement. The other window is open. I believe this is going to be a just this one female in the car.
Okay, well, we're seeing this live here. This is the end of a police pursuit. CHP asking this driver to walk back. This driver wanted for street racing. This is in Hacienda Heights. That's where it started. This is off of the eastbound 60. At one point in time in Azusa near the 60 freeway, the driver of that vehicle T-boned another car, although we do not know the extent of the injuries. It didn't appear to be very serious, as they didn't hit that car going full speed. At one point in time, Susie, we'll just wrap up here, that the street racer on the eastbound 60 was up to 130 miles per hour.
Yeah, just incredible. And as you mentioned, we don't believe that no one was seriously injured in all of this, which is certainly, good news with the street racing suspect. And we're talking about a meeting of street racers, about 60 cars, or 60 to 100 cars actually, meeting to get together for a street racing event tonight. And that's just one of those vehicles that escaped from that when the law enforcement came in. It looks like there was someone else inside the car.
Yeah, we did have a passenger here after all, Jeff and Susie. They were just sitting really still in the passenger seat the whole time. Wonder if that was the person who talked some sense into this driver to give this one up. But then again, the vehicle may have just given up on its own. So they're going into custody now as well, and we'll see if there was anyone in the back seat on this shortly as well.
Yeah, it's something that I found
thought it
out
was gonna
tonight.
be a
I didn't
long
know this
one because
before,
it was
that if
a
you're caught
Dodge,
street
but they
racing, which
fucked up
this
their
person
front end.
will be now charged with that, you lose your vehicle. And that certainly is a lot of motivation for people not to do something like that. But nonetheless, there was an exhibition of street
They didn't
racing going
crash
on
it,
tonight
all
in
good.
Hacienda Heights, 60 to 100 drivers. And this driver here was chased by CHP. As you take a live look here from
No,
Sky
that
9
wasn't
here on
live.
KCAL 9. CHP now clearing that vehicle,
They
going
frickin-
through. The driver appears to be a female,
All the
already in
recent
custody,
chases, they've been
and walked
just
back to one of the
ending real
cruisers. And the
fast.
passenger on the left part of your screen there is on
I'm
the
surprised
sidewalk
this
on
one
his
got
knees, and he is now being taken into
Captured
custody.
live, yeah. I have it on. I follow all the news channels on
That's
All right,
Susie.
we're
I-
gonna- we're-
Facebook.
yeah,
now.
go ahead.
No, I was just going to say,
That's
we're going
why
to
I
have
got this
more
one.
on the end of this pursuit on CBS 2 News at 11. But here on KCAL 9, Sports Central is coming up next.
All right, everybody. I'll see you guys in the next one.